Black flag board, truck soldier. I'm cool with laws and Ayatollahs. Rap god, Cyclops and Ogre. I'm King Kong, ain't nobody told ya. You bankroll still. And Bobby Brown about to go get. Paul McCartney, I'm rich. I'm Muhammad Ali, I talk. I'm James Brown, about to tear down this. I'm Michael Jackson, them baddest bag gon' get it. What you mean?
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Let's go to Adam Schefter now. He's got more to say about the Redskins' latest pick.
He was always a player who cared about academics, and that couldn't have been made any more clear when he decided to forego his senior season in order to take on more classes. His goal was to graduate before entering the NFL draft, and at the sacrifice of his final year of football eligibility, he was able to pull it off. The decision left some experts scratching their heads, but guys like Matt Miller saw it as a smart move to stay injury-free and remove the distraction of getting his diploma once he went pro. At least with the degree, he has a backup job now in case this whole football thing doesn't work out for him.
Feel the flame, hold on, I can make it rain. Oh, do you hear the thunder? No, don't let it bring you down. Look up and see the light. You're not alone, don't give up like that. Oh yeah, got a ways to go. Break that wall, let the spirit flow. I know you ain't done yet. Don't stop to catch your breath. You're going higher and higher, higher and higher. Let go, set me free. Got the streets all I need. Going higher and higher, higher and higher. Keep running, keep running, keep
The Colts are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock.
I go out for my squad and I put that on. Squad? All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad? Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. But you stick to the code, you get yours, I get mine. Squad? Yeah, I go extra high for my entourage. Check my repertoire, Jim Jones. Everywhere I go, you know it's reppin' time. It's reppin' time. When Latifah ready, when we set it off, we set it off. If they sleeping on me, I'ma wake them up. They fakers. I really do. I'm caking up, the rent is due. Plus I got my mama and my kiddies too. They growing up. Time is moving faster. What we wasting for? No holding back. Got a lot to prove. I owe you that we all we got. I go out for my squad and I put that on squad. All I got is my word and my word is my bond. Squad. Yeah, they gon' look at you different when you moving forward. Show this, but just stick to the code. You get yours, I get mine. I've been reflecting on
The Texans are now on the clock.
song, finesse and strong. Plus I got my team around me heavy, ain't no extra bros. You can keep them. Giuseppe's on delusional. Who gon' be there for you if you lose it all? Question that, who gon' have your mama back? Think about it, it's so much more to life, take advantage. We gon' get this money, stack this paper.
Olsen the selection, Adam the information.
Every running back that played against him hated the experience, as he netted the most tackles for a loss of any player this year and setting a new school record along the way. As Matt Miller put it, he has a knack for watching the ball, never being fooled by the play action, and getting to the ball carrier in the backfield. He had the ability to single-handedly shut down an opponent's rushing attack in school, but we'll see if that translates to the NFL.
The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in the world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this. Whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip. Word upon your lip. Rather that you rip. Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes.
The Rams are now on the clock.
Now that he's been picked, Adam, what can you tell us about Klein?
He was a receiver who needed a strong offseason to really change the opinion of him, but he had one of the worst pro days among wide receivers in this class. As Matt Miller put it, he was too focused on the next step instead of securing the ball. This led him to dropping a few passes on what should have been simple routes. I think their wide receiver coach can teach him to maintain focus on the ball before trying to make a move. They'll need to improve that if he's going to make an impact early in his career.
Hypothetical, working under something that I'm proud of. Out of the box, an epoxy to the world and the vision we've lost. I'm an apostrophe. I'm just a symbol to remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system of catastrophe, and yet a masterpiece, and yet I'm half diseased. And when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily, and leave the body of my soul to be a part of me. I do what it takes, whatever it takes, 'cause I love the adrenaline.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a trade.
The Packers are now on the clock.
ready for whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins.
I'll do what it takes.
Rather you than me. If you've been with me from Port of Miami, it's been a journey. Ain't nothing changed. A little stronger, a little wiser. Maybe a little more. Blame it on America. I'm pulling off the lot, I bought the cash. Whoa. Her future bright, don't give nobody bad. Whoa. Be looking good inside the. Whoa. But I noticed that she missing all the edges. Whoa.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Whoa. Poor attitude, they got rich calisthenics. Whoa. Walking in the courtroom, sipping on the beverage. Whoa. I know the judge, so I got a lot of leverage. This a fetish.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Your dog did a dab, you never wrote a letter. Whoa. Still in the box, got him rapping acapella. Whoa. Kim Treasure, people with the weapon. Whoa. I got it, boy, don't make me be the devil. Whoa. He knocking on the door and know the password. Gave me his blessings while I'm hotter than the last verse.
Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead president, hit them dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents. Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
I got that in like Tommy Lee. I make money. On my third passport, and I got at the airport. I got bowling green dollars on my dollars. Busting down $100 in the bathtub. Get some house shoes. I got money. I got wild wounds. Get the coaching on that. Ain't no dance moves. I was posted on them.
The Colts are now on the clock.
News on front page. Ain't no relations. I was taking
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
2 times in a row. That's a repeat. You in the cause they easy. I'm in the crazy. She love me like she need me. I got my Maybach flooded out with extra cheese. I make her every single day. I judge a vulture when I flip the padded face. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents. Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Hands on me, got the yellow brace. Check off in my pocket like the yellow paste. Was what I was asking. Low facility, I keep it classy. Build an empire, yeah, that was my state of mind. Yeah, that was my state of mind. Keep the blocks over there, we call it Lego land. Meanwhile, it's like it's Amsterdam. Boy, fresh, you know, got the tropes. 16 when I bought my first rollie. Legend in my hood, just like a never ride in the extra car. Dead presidents, dead presidents. Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
Let's go, all my little militant. Let's go, I'm innocent.
Dead presidents, hit them dead presidents.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Dead presidents.
Feds. Let's go, I'm innocent.
The Lions are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock.
No Harvard, but I was a scholar. Hard knocks, and I learned to be smarter. Don't prefer to be bothered. You get if I order. That's word to my father. I will for my mother. Deal with my brothers. Keep it real. Don't talk with no. Plus I duck undercover.
Now that he's off the board, Adam, why don't you tell us about Randall?
Sometimes an overall 40-yard time taken at face value can be misleading, and here's a good example why. At his pro day, you might have thought that he ran the same time as he did at the combine. But if you look at the split times, he was significantly quicker in the 10 and 20-yard splits than he was previously. His top-end speed is still roughly the same, but what he was able to show was a quicker burst off the line, something that's valued on any position down in the trenches. His quicker first step helped him rise a bit over some of the other defenders and be taken with this pick.
I see both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Okay, now we back to square one.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Everybody got come, mama cries, dead sons, Lord please bless them. Back to the party, I'm just pouring my. Don't get face that before, so I live it up. When I come, better get them off. That's a floss track, better get them off. I'ma keep eating this a dinner rush. I'll let you finish, y'all. Block of diamonds, I can promise I'm being honest. This being modest. I am your highness, I am the finest. You rappers, plus you a liar. Don't idolize and I don't admire. Been doing me for like ever. I'm a better me, more clever. It's a new way. We surfing, baby, new age. That's a certain, baby. Let's take a ride. Put your for the ones that die. It's vows tonight. Just you and I get lost tonight. Then lose your mind. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
What wait, looks like both war rooms are feverishly back on the phones. I think that means a trade is coming.
The Packers are now on the clock.
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to stop the truth. How dare you to stop the truth? Look, you're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to stop the truth. How dare you to stop the truth? Wanna come round there like a bad boy, do it. Want all the talking.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Rolls on my ear saying storms don't do it. Devil on my shoulder, I don't lack. Getting with the business, I don't scrap. Even when I'm bar, I'm so easy ride, but there's no car and no match. What you talking about? Clown, stand down. Never had a thing, never had a pound. You were never bad then, you ain't bad now. Never had them, then look back down. Wait, I saw bare kicks, saw bare clothes. Said not that, I can't wear those. I don't like them, they're not my thing. They went silent, they're all weirdos. Like yeah, storms gone clear. Never had a Tom Ford or a Montclair. Man, them I can't be, you see my done there. Tell them don't do it, don't dare. Don't care who you know from my block. You're not Al Capone, they can take my car and my creps. I still do the road in my socks. Like who's gonna stop me? You, him, little man. I got blue
slims. Don't be an idiot, move smart. I've been killing it, new king. You were never ready for my new stuff. You're a boy by yourself, go and group up. And when Crep went states for the BTs, I was covering Crep like a boot cut. If mad, it's a family ting, straight family ting. Dumb man, I bro, no salary ting. Had a young ting called Amy telling me to come round hers on a Valerie ting. Hashtag Murky Academy ting. You were like art and the gallery ting. Dumb boy there wanna chat about bars, wanna chat about. You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot. I got the big size toes on my feet. Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth? Look, I'm too hot. I got money in my shoebox.
The Jets are now on the clock.
My show sold out like the brother from the Boondocks. Beat Swan on my boombox. Still meat from the stew pot. Man, I'm go sick when my tune drops. Little man, that's a hooplo, not a hoopla. What? Pronounce it right. I go magic, I'm down to die for this. I don't care, bro, I'm down. Man stressed, so I'm bound to lie my slips. Wait, I'm bound to ride for flips. Real G's gonna ride around to this. Man, I got no time to ride.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Man ting. I don't care what rave man's in. I came here to relax, but if it gets mad, make a young boy take man's things. Try to tell me I'm way too big to rebel. Nah, man, you never...
All right, let's go to Adam Schefter, who's got more on this pick.
He entered the season drawing comparisons to some of the most feared defensive linemen in NFL history after a midseason disappearing act that saw him record just 2 tackles in 5 games. Many scouts were left shaking their heads in disbelief. Even with the growing concern over his lack of production, there were some GMs who felt his poor stat lines were a direct result of the increased focus he began receiving as a result of his hot start. One pointed specifically to reports of offensive coordinators fashioning entire game plans around avoiding him, knowing that his fellow linemen were incapable of picking up his mantle. He'll now have a chance to prove believers right, as he's expected to see significant playing time in the preseason with a line far superior to the one he had in college.
Your face ain't big for my boots. Kick up the you. Man, know that I kick up the you. Them boy there try to suck the truth. How dare you to suck the truth?
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, and born like this, immaculate conception. I transform like this, perform like this with new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then off your head. This that put the kids to bed. This that I got realness. I just killed this cause it's in my DNA. I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that rot inside my DNA. I got off, I got trouble, some heart inside my DNA. I just win again, then win again like Wimbledon I serve. Yeah, that's him again. The sound that engine in is like a bird. You see fireworks and Corvette tires skirt the boulevard. I know how you work, I know just who you are. See, use it. Your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitch, heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist, born on side a jellyfish I gauge. See my pedigree, most definitely don't tell.
The Colts are now on the clock.
Probably offend you, this is Paula's oldest son. I know conviction, burners, boosters, ballers, dead, redemption, scholars, fathers, kids and I wish I was fed forgiveness, yeah. Soldier's DNA, born inside the beast, my expertise checked out.
Our very own Adam Schefter has more to say about this pick.
He's the type of offensive lineman that doesn't get mentioned often by the commentators, but when they do, it's complimentary. He's a smart, big guy who knows how to play mistake-free at the line. In fact, he won a stretch of games this season in which he didn't allow a single sack. That's an impressive feat for any college offensive lineman, and it's no wonder to see a team take him. He's going to have to adjust to the larger size and strength of NFL defensive linemen, but I think his intangibles are stronger than any lineman in this class.
Heritage, all I'm inheriting, money and power, the Mecca emeritus. Tell me something, you can't tell me nothing. I'd rather than to listen to you. My DNA not for imitation, your DNA an abomination. This how it is when you in the matrix, dodging bullets, reaping what you're sowing, stacking up the footage, living on the go and sleeping in the villa, sipping from a Grammy, walking in the building, diamond in the ceiling, marble on the floors, beaches out the window, peeking out the window, baby in the pool, Godfather goes, only Lord knows, I've been going hammer, dodging paparazzi, through the cameras, eat it for $4, Brock wearing sandals, yoga on a Monday, stretching to November, watching all the snakes, curving all the fakes, phone never own, I don't conversate, I don't compromise, I just penetrate, money, these are the breaks, these are the times, level number 9, look.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
On the way, on the way. I got winners on the way. You ain't without a on your belt. You ain't without a ticket on your plate. You ain't sick enough to put it on yourself. You ain't rich enough to hit the ladder skate. Tell me when destruction gonna be my fate. Gonna be a fate. Gonna be a fate. Peace to the world. Let it rotate. Money, DNA.
The Buccaneers have made their selection. What can we tell you about him? That's why we have Adam Schefter.
He's a Heisman-winning defender. Let me say that one more time. He won the Heisman, and he's a defensive player. Need I say more? You can imagine how well he played this season to win the biggest award in college over several offensive playmakers. The trophy was well-deserved, and according to Matt Miller, he projects really well as a defender in the NFL. I think this is a home run pick, and it's great to see a defender get some well-deserved recognition.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Grammys and some Oscars. They deserve Grammys, they imposters. I be rolling with my project homies. It's a vibe. I just with the homie. It's a vibe. Over switch sides. It's a vibe. Yeah. I go through it. I gotta accept that I'm a. Yeah. I pull up in several different options. That I will most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled.
I've been rolling on the freeway. I've been riding 85. I've been thinking way too much, and I'm way too gonna drive. I got anger in my chest. I got millions on my mind.
Bill's pick is in. Let's go to Adam with more on Charles.
Things were looking pretty bleak early in the season when he suffered a non-displaced tibia fracture near the ankle. Immediately after the injury, he was in good spirits, vowing that it would not keep him from preparing for this year's draft. A fierce competitor on the field, but also in the weight room, he was able to aggressively rehab that leg and began running 2 weeks earlier than expected. Several sources told me this sense of commitment and spirit gives him that it factor, making it easy to overlook his injury. He's a story of perseverance and has all the tools to become a franchise quarterback.
I pop in your memory. You should be glad I'm showing you sympathy. I gave you pure love out the gutter. I can cut them. Ever let you go, you gon' suffer from it. I gon' do it. I gotta accept that I'm a. I pull up in several different options. That I will most ever. I shatter your dreams with this cream I make. Gotta be on the thinker. I say, what? I can't feel my toes, but ain't gon' fold up. I was in the double law when I rolled. Yeah.
The Colts are now on the clock.
I feel like I should be giving up. You can't leave it's too much. But I'm tired of you, me.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Don't like where this is going. And I've been stuck in all your apologies. Gave my all, but you wanted more from me. Keep your love, it doesn't feel the same. I hope it hurts you when you hear my name. I look up, so many. Oh my God. So many.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
Sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah.
How come nobody's at the podium? That's because both teams are right now working on a trade.
The Bears are now on the clock.
I grew up with this debt to me. It's some that I just made a debt to me. What's in common is they both pay respect to me. I get it my way from Friday to Friday. My girl is a mix of Aaliyah and Sade. I came a long way from that Marvin and I pull out the driveway like I'm in a car chase speeding. And if my she know I'm leaving. No text, no call, but that airplane mode. Code, no P code, no time to change clothes. Same clothes, love if you're living by the same code. G code, leave. You do that to me, back to my destiny. Penthouse, bird's eye view, that's a nest for me. I got myself out of debt, so when you see me, know you somebody I'll never need. Sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I cut the drama out my energy. Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Focus on it, inner me, never on it, enemy. And I done sacrificed my own time. I done sacrificed my own mind. I done sacrificed the club life. I done sacrificed my love life.
Also, I done sacrificed the thug life. Diamond shining, ain't no dull light. Drop my top to get my mind right. Pull up in the Rari loud pipe. Them the dime, my wrist a Hyundai. Ooh, yeah, Gucci Python. Ooh, yeah, she play with her. Yeah, I bought that the new charm. Pop on, I told her come see about me. Come on, come see me. The devil had entered my soul. My mama had beat it out. The devil, my mama. Remember my grandma had told me you better be somebody. Hop in my seats massaging. Watch how I lead the posse. I made a M deposit.
Paid all these dues with the game. Yeah. Sacrifice your strides for that stain. Sacrifice. Heard you sacrifice your life for that change. Yeah. She sacrificed that money for white. Left hand got 3 rings. That's brum. We up one. Bad, dear savage. Take her to the mall and buy some. That's gonna wanna make your friends come. Yeah. Make way with the timing. Tell me. Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? 10 toes, yeah, you gotta stay down, eh? Just some yawn, looking for a way out, eh? People.
The Bears are now on the clock.
Town, eh? Hit my phone if you need a hold.
I done made sacrifices. So many sacrifices. Straight up. I done gave up so much free time, knowing time ain't free. I sacrificed it. My girl showed me love, she know I make sacrifices. And if it's real love, then you make sacrifices. To get ahead, man, you gotta make sacrifices. That's how hungry my appetite is. Yeah. I know my great auntie was a slave. I could only imagine all the sacrifice she made. I could only imagine all that she had to take. I'ma make sure all the she gave wasn't in vain. I sacrificed for your entertainment, boy. I'm Mr. Anderson in the Matrix. Check the last name, it's all facts. In the human race, it's all about pacing. Look at all the ones I outlasted. I'm the one at the end like I count backwards. Never satisfied, details classified till the afterlife. Make a sacrifice down.
Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice? Why can't y'all recognize that we all came from sacrifice?
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Put my problems in them. Only check up when the checks come. My pockets looking best up. All the talking never stressed us. They talking like they jealous of me. They talking like they never love me. They talking like they next door. I still treat them like the sun. Showers on the way. I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Yo. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Know your place, yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah. Promises and wishes, candles for my exes now. Ain't no fingers let to count my blessings.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Trust me, it's been different now. No rings for the things I go missing now. Promises and wishes. Why would I ever start celebrating? Why would I ever start celebrating? I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking. I'm naming all the hearts I've been breaking.
The Lions are now on the clock.
I've been working 25 hours every day. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain. Pull up with the bands, have them dancing in the rain.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Yeah, know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Know your place, yeah. I got like right now, I'm impatient. I got women on the cell trying to give me. I still wish it would, I still wish them well, yeah.
Yeah, little fish. I say, Lord, be my savior when it comes to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save us. Say amen. Amen, amen, yeah. Amen. That boys in that can't win. Can't win. Jet. Going up. We in it, we gonna. Going up. Did it like my persona.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
We was the drug them hunters. Now we pull up in the furnace. Go up.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Show up, hold up, go up, boys, don't touch, we flow up, yeah. I'm laughing to the bank, all new blue Benny Franks, pulled up on him in the tank, yeah. That guy just a rap guy, I'm so mad fly in, he ain't. Let me back, tight gave me until I was going on Miami, they all cornballs, they can't stand me, I finesse, I done. I hear, get a plan. Let's go, that's my whoa. No low. Got strain on yo-yo. She post up a MCM and we like that JoJo. When we out and we see him, he always has a photo. I say, Lord, be my savior when it comes to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me and I won't save us. Say amen. Amen. Yeah. That boys in that can't win. Jet. Going up.
Hold on now. This pick is trading teams.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Lions are now on the clock.
She lucky. She 5 mil cash in Kentucky. I walk up in Lehman, spend 10K just like it's nothing. I hang with the demons, they don't play by me, we cut. I was coolin', Atlanta, mixed with the Fanta. All them, I got Santa, I go monkey, all that. Gonna do just what I say. Pull up, fast as Uber in that race. She so bad, but she said. I feel guilty, I might as well just plead my case. I say, Lord, be my savior when it comes to getting this paper. Please protect me from my haters. Just say me
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Counting up the bills with my dominant hand. Yo, choose up. Take this, appreciate it. This too. If I tear up the rim shot. I'm going global, coast to coast like my G.I. Joe present. I've yet to see a Cobra. So off my rocker got me sipping club.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Some stars never blow up. I'm pitching in, never in the dugout. Reaching in my and I can't take a head count. Flashback, 03, things was looking run down. Now I set foot in the place, it's a luau. Killing like 10 counts. Y'all know
the Bears are now on the clock.
Y'all know that we en route. Transition from the Impala to the Fisker. I should charge admission for that to get the dessert. Left the doors up, now the Lambo has pigtails. Since you getting comfy, I'ma let you sit there. I'ma let you stay there. When I shed a tear, they didn't have no care. So I'ma charge retail. I brought some cause you say you want sick. If you love sick in the room, you best get well. Every dog has its day. What the no tuck. Sway Lee Winter Magazine, double XL. Floss with your Gucci on. Dipped in colors burst on the cars and the jewels. I'm a wanted man. Seats looking like they got a spray tan. When I was without, not a helping hand.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a trade.
The cans. I told Ben Frank just to drop a pin. I could let my fit go to the highest bid. Yes, I might drop in. It all depends.
The Colts are now on the clock.
10. I'm coming clean though. I mean, not a spec. My girl be serving looks. I can chef. Katana sword popping out my walking cane. I'm overseas, my Cali Bay like how was Spain. We getting to the money and you having issues. I bought a and it came with a wetsuit.
The Bears are now on the clock.
I really am a mess. I'm mooching off myself. She be hoping that I take a knee. Yes, I be open to that shrimp life. This is how we live, this is how we exist. Love the kicks and we love the hits. All in the house and I'm wrecking. If I sleep, I'm a wrecking. I'm in my own world, throw the money up and make my own weather. Mommy playing tether on leather. Money talk, it's electric.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
It's electric.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Chipper on my shoulder, I move undetected. She said, pop the question got deflected. Man, that made my boy, then my brethren.
The Lions are now on the clock.
It's only on the house when we in the place. My used to lava boys got it up in some flames. Stirring up the cup with my wrist souffle. Shaka Zulu chains with my name engraved. I told you on swing, don't say my name in vain. We bring it to your door like, you rang? Spending all the money, then we watch it boomerang.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Face like, put some gold on my fingers, neck, and shoestrings. Long time no see, that's what they say when they see me, man.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
They say, hey, your girl went missing, who's to blame? Young whippersnapper with the range. Pause, then I went to range. Call that hottie on my stage. Long week, but a great day. So it got me like sage.
The Rams are now on the clock.
On me, yeah, you can hate.
So here as the Dolphins have just made Coleman their newest player.
He was always a physical player, and all the tests confirmed it, but what scouts saw at the All-Star game was poor technique. It looked to me like he was playing a little too aggressive, and it worked against him. I spoke with one coach who seemed to like him, but also said he needed to be taught how to tackle properly. He had a lot of success on physical play alone in college, but that won't work anymore in the NFL.
His hand feeling like a man. Run for the put it to your brain like. Everybody know you ain't about it. Everything you talk about, I know I can live without it.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Ain't what it seem like. I know. Hold up, what you mean? Where you been in? This is merely the beginning again. What you been living in? The box under the bridge, like Anthony Kiedis, looking for something to complete us and maybe lead us. A long way from equalist, how they treat us. Body of a builder with the mind of a fetus. Turn on the television and see the vision.
I see both teams filling out cards. You know what that means? We've got a trade.
Everybody bleed. Everybody needs something. Everybody.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Know how it go. Everybody people. Everybody bleed. Everybody needs something. Everybody love. Everybody know. I've been knocking dough down like a witness. God is my witness. I'm witness, but on the real, I think I need another witness. If it was 17, black dad and white mama wouldn't change a thing. Light skin, certified as a house. Go figure. In my blood is the venom master. It's like the devil playing space with the pastor.
The Texans are now on the clock.
Man, what is that? People told me as a child, as a little boy playing with his toys, I should be ashamed. And some people look ashamed when I rap, like my great-granddaddy.
The Lions are now on the clock.
I don't give a praise God, I can see the light. Everybody talk about race this, race that. I wish I could erase that, face facts. Everybody people, everybody bleed.
Well, wait, looks like both war rooms are feverishly back on the phones. I think that means a trade is coming.
Everybody people, everybody bleed, everybody needs some.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Everybody know. Okay, I was gone for a minute, but I'm back now. Sit back down. Seem like everybody nowadays, Hollywood. Oh, it's like that now? I'ma show you how to act now. I'ma show them how to act. I'ma show you.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
As we go on.
How come nobody's at the podium? That's because both teams are right now working on a trade.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
What you need, little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Yes, baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
You done made it to see a whole nother summer and it feel good. Stop.
The Redskins are now on the clock.
Let the wind blow. Open up the window. That girl is poison like Belleville DeVoe. We have a barbecue too.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
In the back on the low.
The Texans are now on the clock.
And the plates of food will be laid out for free. Little kids, get down. I have a bus pull up with Tommy the Clown to do the jerk. Go to work and do that dance that'll make your whole body hurt. Playing Bombardier, calm and clear. This that time of the year for everybody to be boisterous. Rock with Snoop Dogg and rejoice to this.
As we go.
The Lions are now on the clock.
Like we do. When it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you. What you need, little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Yes, baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
Shined up my white walls, night falls. I'm feeling good. I'm doing things that you never would, like surfing with the sharks or shooting in the dark, riding on a bike with my grandson at the park. Evolve while I elevate, take flight, levitate. Breakfast for dinner, I'm cold as a but summer ain't the winter. Finna, bender, Kona, on a 3-wheel motion. I'm headed to the ocean. Caravan full of cars, neighborhood stars. Up the boulevard we go till we can't go no more. It's me and mine, it's summertime. You go off and we go on.
As we go on, like we do. When it's hot outside, I wanna just chill with you. What you need, a little mind at ease. There's a little sunshine in the summer breeze. Let's ride. Baby, if you feel the same, let me know. If you feel the same, then let me know. I wanna know. Yes, I do. What you got to lose?
I come here today to talk about how I feel, and I feel like that we are treated differently than other people, and I don't like how we're treated, and just because of our doesn't mean anything to me.
It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long, yeah. It's just no way to deal with these problems alone. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, you help me. Now everybody got problems, yeah, but waiting no more way to solve them. I really came up from the bottom, struggling my mama on the last dollar. Hustling, man, I've been putting in these hours. The government been trying to take away what's ours. Really all about the money and the power. I just wanna see my people in power. Tell me how we gon' shape this vision. Complaining all day, but in the same condition. If you wanna make change, it's gon' take commitment. Some people enslaved by their religion can't emancipate the fundamental principles. What I see through optics transform the wisdom. Watch me use my prophets, get them on the list, and I've been on a mission. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, you help me. Now everybody got fights, yeah, but wouldn't know what good advice was. Till they leave him lifeless. Another mama crying, it's another crisis. Lord knows we just trying to live right, yes. Are you willing just to make the sacrifices? I know we can't continue living like this, and I never sell my soul cause that's priceless. Tell me how we gon' make a living. Hustle on the block, who gon' save the children? Man, it's all a plot and I'm just revealing. The media just trying to make a villain. I just take the pain and paint a picture. Voices in my head, I hear the whispers when I feel this way. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my lord. I'm young and I'm restless, and I really can't help it. I never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. Tell me, Logie, you help me. I said, Logie, you help me. It's just the way I feel. Mine's been racing so long, yeah. It's just the way to deal with these problems alone. And I really can't take it no more. I've been fighting temptations, my lord. I'm living on restless. I said, Logie, help me. I've never felt selfish before. I've been living so reckless, I know. To me, Logie, you help me, well. I said, Logie, help me. I said, Logie, help me. I said, Logie, help me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, you know I've been ballin'. Ay, every day I'm shot callin'. I'm a straight, make it rain just to let you know I've been ballin'. Ay, yeah, I've been ballin'. Yeah, just to let you know I'm ballin'. I'm a straight, make it rain just to let you know.